Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
I want to ask you about Special Counsel Jack Smith's final report on these cases against Trump. Trump's lawyers wrote to Merrick Garland yesterday urging him not to release it. They argue that doing so would interfere with presidential transition and so on. What are your thoughts on all this? We brought this up with Paul Reed. Did Merrick Garland just simply take too long with all of this?
Yeah, not only did Merrick Garland take too long, and I've been critical of Merrick Garland for a very long time. It's too bad he didn't become a Supreme Court judge, because that's where he belongs, where they can spend 4, 5, 6 months coming up with a decision. These cases needed to move expeditiously. Not only did this case not move expeditiously, neither did the Alvin Bragg case. They waited, as Mark Pomerantz put it, over a year too long. So all of these issues now that are going on with sentencing and with the criminal conviction, I hate to say it, and people will get angry at me. I was very clear when I spoke to Vanity Fair. I believe that they should toss the case. There is no repercussion that is going to take place to Donald Trump on that case. As far as what Paula Reed said, I agree with her completely. Merrick Garland waited too long to bring in Jack Smith. Plain and simple. He is going to, meaning Donald Trump is going to shut that down. This case will never see accountability for whether he did or he didn't. Now, where she's also correct is that this case with Jack Smith has not been decided yet. So to release a report that has not been validated, that Jack Smith, as the special counsel, has not been validated, I think goes against process. And we have to start expecting process needs to be first, whether you like Donald Trump or you don't.
Probably seen this Washington Post reporting that President Biden believes, Merrick Garland was a mistake and was too slow to prosecute Trump for his role in January 6th and allowed an aggressive prosecution of his son, Hunter. I obviously would agree. I'm seriously curious your take on that. I know that, you're an institutionalist, having worked in those institutions and all of that. And I defended Merrick Garland for a while, and then I got off the train. Where are you?
No, I still am on the train, I think. And I know that's not what people want to hear. People are angry with Merrick Garland because I think we like to have someone to blame. But I take them at their word when they say they were investigating ties to the Proud Boys, ties to the Oath Keepers early on, that they were exploiting phones and communications records. Having investigated and prosecuted complex corruption cases, and none at this level of complexity, I can tell you it takes years to put a case like that together. What we saw by the January 6th committee was incredible, but remember, there was no cross-examination, there was no other side, there was no closing argument, there was no guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And so that was a nice start, a nice assembly of evidence, but it was not enough to prosecute a case. I also think that even if this case had been charged a year earlier, as some people say, oh, they wasted a year, it wouldn't have gone to trial before the election anyway, because we are still one more round at the Supreme Court away from ever going back to a jury trial. So I don't think it would have finished anyway. And the last thing I'll say is, it is not the Attorney General's job to prevent somebody from achieving elected office. That is the job of the voters. And the voters indicated they didn't care. It was clear all of the things that Donald Trump has done, and voters, the majority of whom, did not care. So I don't lay this at Merrick Garland's feet. I lay this at the feet of people who voted for Donald Trump and the disinformation machine of the Trump campaign.
I hate everyone, so I lay it at everyone's feet. Okay. Also, I wasn't listening to anything you said because you didn't say what I wanted to hear.
I know, it's not what you want to hear.
She was going blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 Barb McQueen, fancy law degree. But last question, Barb, though, is, obviously a lot of people that worked on the January 6th, of course, he was raging about Liz Cheney again yesterday. A lot of people that worked on the January 6th committee, are asked, are you going to take a pardon? Are you afraid? And I know one of them, I can't forget who was on TV yesterday, Barb, saying, I'm not concerned. There's no evidence. But is that going to matter in Trump 2.0? I mean, they're going to make sure they try to bankrupt people, if nothing else, right? And say they're under investigation and make their lives miserable. I mean, that's part of retribution, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. I agree that it is unlikely that any of those people will be convicted of any crime. And that's because there's just no evidence that anyone did anything wrong. I think the members of Congress will also be protected by the speech or debate clause. But those are defenses that have to be asserted after charges are filed. And so I think they could make people's lives miserable. Simply being the target of an investigation brings with it expenditures in the form of attorney's fees, harm to your reputation, stress, emotional cost. And I also think even if they don't get charged in court, I think they could find themselves hauled before congressional committees where their lives could be made miserable again, just to give members of Congress, their little clip to post on social media or the 6 o'clock news. So I do think that there is something to fear with this vow of revenge.
Yeah. Well, at least we don't have Attorney General Matt Gaetz. That's all I can say. And everybody cheered when they said he was leaving Congress. And now he has a TV show, and he looks like a cast member in Cats, the movie. I don't know.
George Santos tried to correct his makeup.
Yeah.
Okay. Barb, thanks for taking time. Best of luck to all of us.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks
Stephanie.
so much,
I'm glad
honey.
you bring a little humor to this.
Try.
Oh, what's not funny about all this?
Oh, hi. I just finished, I'm going to say, an 11 billion mile bike ride. And thank God I happen to have this magic potion with me, ASEA, as seen on the Stephanie Miller Show. It helps my cells communicate better so that I can heal faster from overdoing because I'm lying about my age. I also use it on my face.